Hi guys, Chris with Microsoft here with another exciting episode of What's New in Windows Server 2012. Tonight continuing a discussion on storage. So we're going to go into file and storage services, and we're going to talk a little bit about iSCSI. So iSCSI is a block level storage mechanism. And we're going to specifically be talking about the target. Actually, we'll probably talk a little bit about the targets and the initiators. So this is a way of sharing out storage over the network, but it's different than SMB. So if we do a UNC path name and go, Windows key R here, and I go whack whack, and we'll go Contoso MS1, and then like C $. So obviously this is similar to this is storage across a network share or a network, but it doesn't actually appear inside of the disk management section. In other words, it's not true block level storage. What I mean by that also is, so if I hop over here to MS1, the server that we're currently looking at across the network, I could take a folder and do like we've always done and share this thing out. So sharing, advanced sharing, turn on sharing for this folder, click OK, click close, and then hey, lo and behold, we've shared out a folder. I can come back over here to the DC, Contoso MS1, now I've got a share, I can right click on this, I can map a network drive, maybe put that on P drive, reconnect, finish. So inside of Explorer and Computer, I see this, but I can't right-click it and format it. I can't right-click it and do anything. And if I do Windows key X and go into Disk Management with a K, it's not here. It doesn't appear here because it's not true block level storage. It is a network-based storage that is using the SMB protocol. NFS would also work for this kind of storage, but iSCSI is different. It's more similar to Fiber Channel than it is to just a standard SMB share. So the first thing I have to be able to do is actually install the iSCSI. So I'll come in here and just click that little hyperlink, and I'm going to check both of these boxes for iSCSI. I'm going to click next, next, and then restart if necessary, yes, and then go ahead and kick off the install. Now, as this is going, let me just talk a little bit about the history here. Is iSCSI has been around for a while. iSCSI target software has typically been part of the Windows storage server and was not something we gave away for free until about 2 years ago. Now we will allow you to do an out-of-band download and get 08R2 with the iSCSI target software, but now it's built right in here to Windows. So that's kind of the biggest change. Is the target is now part of Windows. It ships with it. It's an installable feature or role, and we come back over here to refresh my screen. We now manage it in a little bit different place than before. So now that we have the actual role installed, what we want to do, this is the target. So I'm going to create storage on this server, and then I'm going to attach to it from another server as block level storage. So we need to create a target. So we're going to start off with creating an iSCSI virtual disk. This kicks off a new wizard. So we're going to just let it pick this Contoso DC1 and select this volume. It's going to ask me for a name. So let's just call this ID1, iSCSI disk 1. It's going to create this in a VHD format. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to go ahead and let it create this. I've got 117 gigs free, but let's go ahead and create a 20 gig, actually let's create a 24 gig drive. This is in honor of my wife's favorite NASCAR driver, Jeff Gordon. I'm going to create a new iSCSI target. So this target allows me to pick initiators that will attach to it. So we'll call this Contoso IT1, iSCSI target 1. And now I have to go and pick a way for these guys to connect. So the initiator ID, I'm going to use IP addresses. So I'm going to pick 10.1.0.5 and go ahead and click OK. And now the server at 10.1.0.5, which I believe is the IP address for MS1, if I got this right, 10.1.0.5, as I can see, I'm skipping over here to MS1. And now moving back over to Contoso DC1. Say next. I'm not going to enable chap or reverse chap, and then create. So this is the target side. I have created the target now. I can see the properties of this target right here. It's not currently connected. This is Contoso iSCSI target 1. Scrolling down just a little bit, I can see the iSCSI targets which I've created. Now, to be able to connect to this, I'm going to switch over to MS1. And this is the new way to get to the iSCSI Initiator. So I'm going to go into Tools, and I'm going to go into iSCSI Initiator. Now the strange thing about the iSCSI Initiator is it doesn't work well in 800 by 600, which I'll show you in a second. What it's going to ask me here is, hey, the iSCSI service isn't currently running. Would you like me to turn on the iSCSI service and let it run at startup? Which you would want to do if you always want to persistently connect to that storage. So it's going to turn that service on, it's going to set it for automatic, and then it's going to bring up the initiator. Now you won't normally run into the problem that I'm looking at right now because you don't typically run your servers in 800 by 600 resolution. By default, it won't even let you do that. 1024 by 768 is the smallest amount. I'm going to really quickly turn that into a slightly larger resolution so that I can come down here and actually see the OK button. So we're going to scroll back and forth a little bit. I realize that's going to make it just for a few seconds hard for you to see, but 10.1.0.3, I'm going to click Quick Connect. It's going to see the iSCSI target that we created. I'm going to click Done. It's already right here. I can even go into Volumes and Devices and auto-configure those. But the part that I couldn't get to in 800 by 600 is this OK button. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to switch my screen resolution back to 800 by 600. As you can see, it's hidden. So I hit Advanced Settings, List All Modes, 800 by 600. And again, you would probably not do this. I'm doing this for the fact that I'm filming this on YouTube and trying to make this a little easier for folks to see. And so there we go. Okay, so I have now attached to this, so I can go into Windows key X and go to Disk Management. Now we get to see what actually attached at the block storage level. As you can see, I now have a 24 gig LUN that has been presented to me. I can right click, I can online this, making this obviously very much different than an SMB network share where I've mapped a drive. This is a whole different type of storage. Alright, so we've got it online. I'm going to go ahead and initialize this drive and tell it, yes, I want to go ahead and do that for disk 1. And I can come through here and create a volume on this thing. So maybe we'll put this on I for iSCSI and call it 24 GB iSCSI. Just don't really matter. Quick format. I could use REFS, which we talked about in a previous episode. We're going to stick with NTFS in this case, and it's going to go ahead and format that drive for me and assign it to I. So this is true block level storage. It shows up in my computer right there. And I can go in and create a folder 1, create files. Hi there. And what I can do next is actually make this attached to multiple targets. So I'm going to offline the disk for just a minute here. And I'm going to come back over to my iSCSI target on DC1. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to the properties for this target. As you can see, the initiators I have at 10.105. I can add additional initiators. So if I wanted to be able to attach to this from another server, I can just go 10.1.0.6. So now I have the ability to attach to this same 24 gig LUN from 2 different servers now. Now why would I do that? Well, what might come to your mind is failover clustering. This is a great way to put together some shared storage for failover clustering. We're not going to do that into a later episode where we'll actually look at this from a clustering standpoint, but we'll look at it from a local standpoint for right now. What I've done here is I've just created the ability for, this is MS2. Just to refresh your, if you're getting lost, we have 3 servers we're looking at. One of them is this is Contoso DC1. He's the iSCSI target. MS1, Contoso MS1, which has actually got the 24 gig LUN already configured. Now we're going over to Contoso MS2, who also does not have the iSCSI target started. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off the initiator just like before. I'm going to come through here and let it start up in 10.1.0.3 and quit connect. So we're connected here now, and I can't click my OK button. So actually, I think I can. I just need to hit enter, and nope, that didn't work. So we'll go ahead and push this back up, and tell you what, I'll pause the video for a second since you've already seen that part. There we go. So we got my iSCSI initiator connected to the iSCSI target. So Windows key X followed by K for disk management. In the previous episode, we had a couple of storage spaces that were created on this. So we'll go jump through all of those guys and come down here to this 24 gig LUN. So I have a 24 gig drive. If I go ahead and online this disk, since I didn't do this inside of iSCSI, I do not currently have the iDrive, not through iSCSI. Since I didn't do this through failover clustering, I didn't pick up the drive letter. If I had added this as storage, it'd be the same drive on both nodes of a cluster, but we haven't built a cluster yet. We'll do that in another episode. I'm just trying to make a point here, so I can change this over to I manually, though. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. And if you'll watch, if I go into iDrive, you'll see that the little folder and the little hide there that we created earlier is there. So this is truly shared storage. Now, I did offline it on that other server a moment ago. I could theoretically online it here and online it on both at the same time, but eventually we're going to end up corrupting this drive. It's not a good idea to have this online at the same time. You want something like failover cluster to do that sort of thing for you, because eventually you're going to create a corruption in this drive, and that's kind of interesting. That file didn't show up over here. Let me jump back out, folder 1. I may have already caused some damage to this, but yeah. Okay. So because I'm trying to bring this on at the same time, Windows wasn't really built for a shared everything model. It's really more of a shared nothing model. It doesn't like to have 2 disks online at the same time. When we add this into a failover cluster later, that's a utility that's actually built to do that sort of thing. So bring those offline before I corrupt it, and then just have it online in one location at a time. So with a shared storage model, though, I have the capability to train this into a witness disk. I have the ability to add this into CSV, cluster shared volume. I can add it to a resource as just some standard storage. But just the general idea that I wanted to get out here is just how to use the iSCSI target and how it's changed from the initiator. The initiator piece, not much. Few things did change from the iSCSI target piece on Contoso DC1 here. Let's jump back over to him. Obviously, the management interface is a little bit different. There's a few other changes which are definitely worth noting if you've been working with iSCSI for a while. One of which is we have full support for 4K drives. There's PowerShell that's been implemented here, so you can manage these targets from PowerShell. It now uses VSS, which it really didn't before, even though it may have appeared to you that it was doing that. The VSS wasn't a part of that picture. It's fully SMI-S compliant, which is an industry specification for people who write storage or build storage type appliances. It's an industry standard. It has its own best practices analyzer now. So when I mentioned in an earlier episode that you can run BPA tests against any server that you're managing. If I were to go into all servers and Oh, I didn't kick the performance counters off on this guy, so let me go ahead and kick those off. Slide down here to BPA. So now when I run BPA scans on this server, it'll actually include BPA results for the iSCSI piece. So that's a pretty neat improvement as well. It's also its own service. So Windows key, oops, that was not my intended button to push. Windows key R. I'm all over the place here. Services.msc. So scroll down here to the bottom. So actually, it's not under the W. Sorry, it's under the Microsoft's M's. So if I go up to M in Microsoft iSCSI software target, so this is a restartable service now. So that's very handy in that you don't have to bounce the entire service. The reason I got that confused is because it's actually called WinTarget. So SC query, actually that needs to be done from command prompt. So SC query WinTarget. So that's its actual name. So restartable, as you can see. So it's also been improved in that failover cluster integration, which I'll talk about a little bit more when we get into the failover clustering episodes of this series of what's new in Windows Server 2012. So, oops. So anyway, there we go. We did get the BPA results in. Let's see if we saw anything come in about iSCSI. If we didn't see anything, it's because we didn't actually trigger on any problems. But yeah, we didn't. Still, it's finished, and if there had been any problems that it detected that were related to iSCSI, they would have come up in my BPA results, and then it was also lit up my dashboard, as we covered in the previous episode where we were talking about our server manager and remote server management. It would have lit up this area right here. Anyway, guys, so this has been Chris with Microsoft. As always, thanks a lot for watching. If you did find anything about this useful or interesting, please give it a quick like and the link below. And feel free to subscribe to my channel. My blog also is at 9z.com. Real easy to remember. It's just the last number and the last letter. .com. That's got links to my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. So, again, thanks a ton for listening, and I'll see everyone in the next episode.